Two women went viral this week and reminded us that yes, sex still sells. One premiered a Hulu docuseries at Tribeca and runs an over $100 million media empire. And the other, well, she's reminding us who man's best friend really is, dropping an album cover where she's literally on all fours, getting her hair pulled by a faceless man just like a little puppy. Ruff, ruff. Yes, I really just did that. Today, we're breaking down what makes these media brands similar, what makes them wildly different, and what they tell us about the power of sexuality, how to own it, and how to give it away in 2025. We've got a lot to get to. Let's get into it.
Show me life, show me love.
Hey friends, welcome back to Ashley B TV, where I bring my experience working in Hollywood as an entertainment journalist and actress and take you behind the headlines. If you enjoy diving into your favorite entertainment and pop culture stories, hit that subscribe button. Help us reach our next milestone of 10,000 subscribers. I promise I'm going to do a fun giveaway, and we have an exciting announcement coming later in this video. Today, we are breaking it all down. We're going over, you know it, Sabrina Carpenter's brand and how this actually started, why her era is getting backlash and who it's working for, how Alex Cooper, the new media mogul, went from Gluck Gluck 9000 to media CEO, and what it really means to be in control of your sexuality in 2025. Plus, what Sabrina could learn from Alex, and honestly, what we all could. So let's start off with Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina Carpenter didn't start here, obviously. She started where most sex icons come from in America, and that is the Disney machine. I'm not hating. I love Disney, but it is the truth.
Hey, I'm Sabrina Carpenter from Girl Meets World, and you're watching Disney Channel.
She started in Girl Meets World, releasing sweet pop records and building a loyal fan base of moms and daughters. Honestly, the best fan base you can come up with, because we're the ones who are actually buying stuff at the store. She was clever, she was emotional, flirty, but safe. Think the next Olivia Rodrigo. Her early hits like Thumbs and Almost Love were cheeky at most, but post-2022, things shifted. After songs like Skin and Vicious and Nonsense, her lyrics got dirtier, her interviews bolder, and her stage performances way more suggestive. And guess what? Wow, who would have guessed it worked? Espresso became her biggest hit, campy, catchy, hot girl coded. She leaned hard into the bratty, confident pop persona, but now she's gone from flirty to full-on provocative. Her upcoming album, Man's Best Friend, features the now infamous cover where she's on all fours, hair gripped by a faceless man, and the internet freaking exploded. And I mean, of course, Sabrina knew that this would generate some backlash, right? But is it working? Well, critics from The Guardian to Glasgow Women's Aid called the image misogynist, soft, porn, regressive, deeply irresponsible, and one Reddit user put it best. It's not subversive, it's touring outdated tropes and calling it feminist. Entertainment Tonight posted this on her Instagram: Sabrina Carpenter, Man's Best Friend album cover, iconic or insanely misogynistic. It reads in the caption, this week, the pop star announced her new album, Man's Best Friend, and revealed the cover, which shows Sabrina on her knees while a man pulls her hair. And her comment section has since been flooded by those who find it in poor taste. Quote, Sabrina is not the slay you think it is. Another popular comment says, explain to me again how this isn't centering men, how this isn't catering to the male gaze. Others see the imagery differently, defending it in line with Sabrina's usual brand of satire. Quote, women are smart and capable of satire, even if it makes you uncomfortable. One supporter says, you don't have to analyze all female art and exploration of sexuality through a male lens to see if it does or doesn't appeal to it. And how did Sabrina respond? She told Rolling Stone in an interview this week, it's always so funny. People say all she does is sing about this, but those are the songs that you've made popular. Clearly, you love sex. You're obsessed with it. She also said, quote, I've never lived in a time where women have been picked apart more. The second you see someone wearing a dress, you have to say everything mean within 30 seconds. Now, on the album cover hits, she bluntly said, quote, I cannot give a F about it. I'm just so excited. But the momentum, okay, it's complicated to say the least. Her music is getting plays, but the scandal has diluted her appeal. Has it sold more albums? Not clearly. Has it made moms worry? Definitely. Some are asking if she's repeating the Britney Christina playbook, but without agency. And here's my question. If something sells, do you lean into it, even if you think it might be causing harm? Because yes, the rollout, it's buzzy, it's getting clicks, but also the very thing getting attention is also reinforcing the same outdated power dynamics we've been trying to dismantle for decades. And at what point does strategy start looking like sacrifice? And look, I don't care what the intent was behind Sabrina's imagery, because here's the truth: intent doesn't erase impact. It's like that scene in Emily in Paris where Antoine thinks that a woman walking completely nude through a crowd is a great representation of what they should do for their next marketing campaign. He says it's bold and liberated. Emily is like, no, it's not. It's literally misogyny dressed up as perfume.
Well, I didn't expect her to be naked.
She's not naked, she's wearing the perfume. It's very sexy, no?
Sexy or sexist?
I don't understand. How is this sexist?
Well, whose dream is it anyway? The men or the woman?
It's her dream, of course. To be admired and desired by men.
But it's the male gaze.
Oh, mon Dieu. Yes, the male gaze, exactly.
That's what this cover feels like, a performance of empowerment through the lens of male consumption. And men, honestly, I want to hear from you. Sound off in the comments. When you see this image, are you inspired? Do you feel it's subversive? Does it make you want to go out and respect women even more? Do you look at this and say, wow, women, they're really climbing up there in the world? Or does it just reinforce the same fantasies we've been force-fed for decades? Because if the takeaway isn't power, it's just another branded fantasy with prettier packaging. Now, I want to say, before we dive into our next character study, this isn't about pitting women against each other. This is just about examining two very different approaches to fame, sexuality, and power. Because while one woman is performing a version of empowerment that feels like it was pitched in a boardroom, honestly full of men, another woman flipped the script entirely, and she made the sex jokes first. She owned them, and then she turned the moment into a movement. We're talking about the one and only Alex Cooper. Call her daddy. Before we dive into the one and only Alex Cooper, I do want to announce that we are launching our official Ashley BTV Patreon, Behind the Headlines. If you've ever wanted to ask me questions live, hear more of what goes on behind the scenes in Hollywood, our unfiltered hot takes, we're going to do live monthly Q&As, and you would be a part of a team that actually helps shape our future videos. It is going to be awesome, very unfiltered, very off the cuff. You're going to want to join our Patreon, and the first 100 people who join, you're going to get a special shout out in my next video. And you're going to be a part of the OG Beekeeper crew. Click the link in the description. Let's build this thing together. Again, first 100 people are going to get a shout out in next week's episode. All right, let's dive into Alex Cooper, who rose to fame as the host of Call Her Daddy, where she went viral for ultra raunchy sex talk like the infamous Gluck Gluck 9000. But unlike Sabrina, Alex wasn't performing for someone else. She said the wild thing first. She owned the joke, and she built a brand off of saying what men always had permission to say and women didn't. And people were like, wait, what? And don't get me wrong, Alex obviously got a lot of backlash in those early days of Call Her Daddy. Alex knew exactly what she was doing, and she held all the power. Some might say Sabrina Carpenter does as well. We're going to analyze that in just a minute. And then Alex Cooper was like, you know what? I'm going to take my dirty mouth to the bank because I'm in control, and I'm going to land myself a 3-year contract with Spotify at $60 million. She interviewed huge stars, Miley Cyrus being the one who put her on her map, and then Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, therapists, entrepreneurs, mental health experts. Now she's showing us her depth. Again, she's evolving. She actually said in her recent interviews, in her Hulu docuseries, she's proud of every single episode she's made, but she felt like eventually she was exploiting herself, essentially her body and her sexuality for stories, her relationships, until she grew up and realized she could create something bigger and more meaningful.
She was an astute businesswoman who understood where podcasting was going.
It's about intimacy.
In the 2-part Hulu docuseries, it is fun and it's got really fun moments, but it also gets very serious, and she takes us to another step further of depth, where she shares with us that she was actually SH'd in college at Boston University, not a small town school. And she says, quote, she felt so small, completely powerless. If I, who have a platform, was still scared, how are others supposed to feel safe to speak up? Now that is, to me, what growth looks like. That's what using your platform looks like. Let's be very clear as well. Alex still owns her sexuality. In her Hulu docuseries, we see her on tour with Unwell, dancing provocatively, making cheeky jokes, wearing whatever she wants, mostly, honestly, sweatpants, as you know. But she's doing it for herself. She's not performing submission. She said even with her interview with Harris, yes, she's the vice president. I respect that, but I'm still going to show up as me. I'm still going to wear my sweats, whether she's breaking down hookup culture or strutting across the stage in head to toe lacy lingerie. It's still provocative. But what's the difference then? She's in charge of the brand, the business, the voice, and the narrative. Sabrina, in that Rolling Stones interview, is telling us, you guys love this stuff. You guys are clicking on this stuff. So naturally, obviously, she's going to keep doing this. And obviously, we all know sex sells. We recently saw this of all the momagers and puppeters out there who are exploiting their children, going so far as putting them on sites where you can access under 18 content that is basically an OnlyFans. Here's the raw truth. Both of them are being sexual, but only one is actually doing it from a place of power. Sabrina's playing dress up in submission and calling it edgy, and Alex is running a business still being sexy, but on her terms. This is the difference between empowerment and appeasement, between building a brand that's real and one that's just viral. Because yes, Sabrina, sex does sell, but does that mean that you keep selling it? In 2025, audiences are finally starting to tell the difference. And your audience, yes, they could be gross men just wanting to check you out, but it's also affecting women, affecting girls, affecting children who are watching you and looking up to you. And I could not imagine, that's probably a very fine line to walk. But at what point do you say, yes, this is selling? Does that mean I should sell it? Here's my take, and I'm going to be blunt. Sabrina's album cover isn't bold. It's predictable. It's giving, oops, I accidentally crawled into the patriarchy and called it branding. Meanwhile, Alex Cooper, she's what it actually looks like to turn controversy into currency without selling yourself out. Now, I get it. Sabrina's growing up. She's shedding that Disney image. We saw all the big stars do it. We saw Miley do it. We saw Demi do it. She wants to be seen as a woman, not a kid. But when your version of grown up is centered on being on all fours in heels, that's not rebellion. That's not feminism. That's just marketing. And yeah, it works for headlines, but what about longevity? What about the difference you're making on the lives of those around you? What about agency? What about the girls who used to look up to you? Alex Cooper also started with shock value. She knows it. She said, the more crazy I got, the more clicks I got. You can't help that. But she evolved. She gave herself space to become deeper, smarter, more powerful. She stopped performing for validation and started creating for women. That's what leadership looks like. As Sabrina says, you guys love this, but intent to me doesn't erase impact. Look, I don't care the intent behind Sabrina's imagery. The reason doesn't undo the result. If you kill someone, you don't go, but wait, I didn't mean to, unless of course it's self-defense. But the damage is already done. When you put out art that romanticizes submission, that reinforces the same dynamics women have fought against for decades that still impacts culture. That still tells girls this is power, and it's not. Let's be clear. This isn't about who's better. It's about how Alex Cooper took the same tools Sabrina's using, sex appeal, controversy, virality, and built a brand with staying power. So what did Alex Cooper do that Sabrina and honestly the rest of us could learn from? She said the wild thing first and owned it. She wasn't handed a narrative. She made the joke before anyone could make it about her. And that's power because it's shocking, but also because it's self-directed. She let her brand grow with her. She didn't stay in Gluck Gluck 9000 land. She brought her audience with her as she evolved into politics, business, therapy, and identity. And she used her mic for more than clout. She could have stayed viral. Instead, she built value because value is what lasts. She turns a sex pot, 3, 2, because value is what lasts. She turned a sex podcast into a platform, one that makes space for healing, honesty, and hard conversations. She stayed sexy, but made it hers. She didn't tone it down. She just took control. She performs her sexuality, but not to ask for approval. It's not rebellion dressed in pink. It's confidence backed by ownership. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think? Do you think Sabrina is reclaiming sexuality, or is she just serving it back to the male gaze with better lighting? Is Alex Cooper the blueprint for female power, or is it just smart strategists? Let me know in the comment of the day. And just a reminder, join our Patreon community. It is going to be popping off. We're going to have monthly live Q&As, hot takes, Discord, behind the scenes, all that fun. And it's going to get even crazier. First 100 people get a special shout out in the next video. Link is below. Don't forget to subscribe if you want smart, no fluff pop culture breakdowns. I know a lot of you guys are asking, what's the next phase of the Baldoni Lively case? We're going to get into all of that. I promise. I like to expand beyond just one case. You know what I'm saying? But if you haven't already, catch up on our latest pop culture deep dives here, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Ciao.
Show me life, show me love.